Welcome to Little Magic Adventures, everything you missed today in 15 minutes. So, this story about Mr. X and John George's, right? It's a real holiday humdinger, isn't it?
It is a Christmas dinner debacle of, shall we say, Michelin star proportions. Talk about a festive feast gone wrong.
Exactly. You've got this New York media exec, Mr. X, all set for a swanky Christmas dinner at Jean George's, one of the fanciest places in town, yeah?
Yeah, Jean George, not exactly known for its budget-friendly options. So what's the damage?
Well, initially it seemed like a pretty good deal. The website advertised a holiday price reduction in November, minus $258 for a six-course tasting menu, down from $298. Not cheap, but festive, you know?
Oh, a holiday discount. How generous of them. So where's the catch?
The catch, my friend, is that it was a mistake that cost Mr. X his Christmas dinner.
A mistake? What kind of mistake?
A pricing mistake. The restaurant contacts him a few days before Christmas to confirm the reservation, and bam! The prices are back up to the original pre-holiday rates. $318 for the 10-course meal, and they weren't budging. Can you believe it?
No way. So they advertised one price, he booked it, and then they just changed it? That's outrageous. Did he try to reason with them?
He did. He tried to negotiate, plead his case, explain that he booked based on the advertised price, but Jean George, they held their ground. No dice.
Wow. Talk about a Scrooge move. I mean, it's Christmas. You'd think a high-end establishment like Jean George would be a little more, I don't know, accommodating, especially to a media executive.
So wait, there were two tasting menus offered at reduced prices, a 6-course and a 10-course?
Exactly. Two options, both with what seemed like pretty decent holiday discounts. The 6-course, originally $298, was knocked down to $258. And the 10-course, usually $398, was reduced to $318. Not exactly stocking stuffer prices, but still a festive gesture, right?
Right, yeah, I mean, $40 off is $40 off, especially at a place like Jean George. So he booked the 6-course one initially?
Well, the article doesn't specify which one he booked. It just says he made a reservation based on these advertised holiday prices.
Okay. But either way, it's still a pretty significant price difference, whether it's the 6-course or the 10-course. So the restaurant calls him on Wednesday before Christmas to confirm?
Yep, and that's when the Christmas spirit goes PFFFT, like a deflating Santa balloon.
Oh, so what happened then? Did they just outright tell him the prices were wrong?
Pretty much. They informed him that the prices on the website had been a mistake and that the actual cost would be the original price.
No way. So no $258 6-course meal, no $318 10-course meal, back to full price, just days before Christmas. Ouch.
Yeah, a real gut punch, I'd imagine. Talk about a last-minute scramble. I mean, finding a Christmas dinner reservation at a high-end restaurant a few days before Christmas? Good luck with that. It's like trying to find a parking spot at the mall on Christmas Eve.
So they just like spring it on him? Surprise, your Christmas dinner just got a whole lot more expensive.
Exactly. No warning, no apology, just, oh yeah, those prices, those were a mistake. Can you imagine the audacity?
I mean, I get that mistakes happen, but days before Christmas? And for a restaurant like Jean George, it just seems, I don't know, unprofessional.
Totally. It's not like it's some mom and pop diner. It's John George. They should have systems in place to prevent these kinds of errors, especially during the holiday season.
Right? You'd think so. And not just the error, but their response. They just refused to budge. No compromise, no, hey, we understand this is frustrating, let's see what we can do. Nothing.
Yeah, their handling of the situation was just as bad as the mistake itself, if not worse. It's like they were saying take it or leave it. Which, well, he did. He left it.
He did. He walked. Canceled the whole thing. Which, honestly, good for him. I mean, I probably would have done the same thing. Principle, you know?
Absolutely. It's the principle of the thing. You can't just advertise one price and then days before the event jack it up. That's bait and switch. It's not right.
It's so not right. And then the narrator mentions that the whole thing sparked outrage, right?
Yeah, sparked outrage amongst some is how they put it, which, honestly, I think it deserves more than some. It should spark outrage amongst everyone. This is Consumer Rights 101. You can't do this to people.
So it wasn't just the price hike itself, right? It was the way they handled the whole thing. Like zero holiday cheer, zero flexibility.
Exactly. It's like they forgot what Christmas is all about. Generosity, understanding, goodwill towards men, and apparently not towards media executives with dinner reservations.
Ha, right? And the narrator points out that people saw this as, what was it, petty?
Petty is an understatement. I mean, for a restaurant like Jean George's, with its reputation and clientele, It's just mind-boggling. They're known for their impeccable service, right?
Yeah, supposedly award-winning cuisine, elegant ambiance, and then they pull a stunt like this. It's like, really? John George's?
It's a total disconnect. You expect a certain level of, I don't know, grace from a place like that, not a Scrooge-like, bah humbug, pay up.
Totally. It's almost comical how badly they mishandled it, like a PR student's worst-case scenario study.
Right? How to alienate your high-end clientele in one easy step. A masterclass in PR disasters, courtesy of John George's.
Ouch. And the narrator brings up a good point, too, about transparency and pricing, especially in these rarefied air restaurants.
Yeah, the luxury dining industry, it's a valid point. Mistakes happen, sure. But it's how you deal with them that matters. And in this case, they didn't. Not well, anyway.
Not at all. It's like they doubled down on the error by refusing to even consider a compromise. We made a mistake, but you're going to pay for it. Not exactly a winning strategy.
Nope. Not a good look. Especially for a place that prides itself on, the whole fine dining experience.
So, the narrator kind of wraps things up by saying this whole Jean Georges debacle is a cautionary tale, right, for us consumers.
Yeah, a cautionary tale about checking those prices, especially for spendy special occasion dinners. Duh.
Right? I mean, who doesn't double-check prices, especially at a place like Jean Georges? But it's more than that, isn't it? It's not just about checking the prices, it's about the principle.
Exactly. It's about how they treated him. The complete lack of, customer service, basic decency even. You mess up, you own up to it. You don't just shrug and say, too bad, so sad, pay up.
Totally. It sets a bad precedent. What's to stop other high-end places from pulling the same stunt? Oops, our bad, but you're still on the hook. Ridiculous.
It's almost like they're relying on their reputation to shield them from criticism, oh, it's John George's, they can do whatever they want. But reputations are fragile things,
Oh, for sure. One bad experience amplified by social media, and boom, there goes the Michelin star shine. Or at least a little tarnish.
Speaking of social media, I wonder what the fallout has been for John George's. I mean, this story, it's got all the ingredients for a viral moment. The holidays, a luxury restaurant, a pricing error, a disgruntled customer. It's a recipe for online outrage.
Oh, absolutely. I bet their Yelp reviews are tanking right now. And Twitter? Forget about it. I can just see the memes already.
And the comment sections? Oh, the comment sections. There'll be a dumpster fire of foodie fury. I'm almost tempted to go look.
Almost. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Jean Georges handles the aftermath. Do they issue an apology? Do they offer Mr. X a free meal? Or do they just ignore it and hope it goes away?
My guess? They'll probably issue some carefully worded PR statement about unforeseen circumstances and regretting any inconvenience caused. But I doubt they'll actually admit any real wrongdoing. Too much pride, perhaps?
Yeah, maybe. Pride goes before a fall. Or a price hike, as it were.
Ha! Good one. But seriously, this whole thing, it just leaves a bad taste in your mouth, doesn't it? Like a burnt creme brulee.
Right. Oops, our bad, indeed. So, what do you think happened to Mr. X after this whole Jean Georges fiasco?
Well, the article doesn't say, but I'd imagine he found somewhere else to have his Christmas dinner. Maybe a place a little less pretentious and with, more accurate pricing?
Yeah, maybe somewhere with a little more of that Christmas spirit they were so clearly lacking at Jean Georges. I can picture him at, a cozy Italian place, surrounded by family and friends, enjoying a delicious and correctly priced Feast of the Seven Fishes.
Ha! Or maybe he just said, forget it, and ordered a pizza. Extra cheese.
Huh, right? John George's who? But seriously, though, this story, it really does make you think, doesn't it, about, expectations versus reality, especially when it comes to these high-end establishments.
It does. You expect a certain level of service, a certain level of, professionalism. And when that doesn't happen, it's not just disappointing, it's insulting, almost.
Totally. Like you're paying a premium not just for the food, but for the whole experience. And when that experience falls short, it feels like a ripoff.
Exactly. A very expensive ripoff, in this case. So, yeah, a cautionary tale for sure. Check those prices, people. And maybe have a backup plan, just in case your fancy Christmas dinner reservation goes up in flames. Or, up in price.
Ha, good advice. Well, folks, that's all the time we have for today's episode of Little Magic Adventures. We hope you enjoyed this little holiday horror story. Remember to subscribe, rate, and review. And double-check those dinner reservations, especially if you're planning on dining at, shall we say, certain establishments. From all of us here at Little Magic Adventures, happy holidays. And to you all, a very good night.
Happy holidays, everyone, and don't forget the extra cheese. Podcast music fades in.